This is my view. The sheep down in the valley, sheep all over. They're tucked away under this great boulder. There's a stream here. It decided not to do a big distance because it's not needed. I had a really strong memory come to me when I started to shelter under this boulder. And it's one of the strongest from my secondary school years. I went to Michael Hall Steiner School. I boarded there. I was on the bursary, which meant that the school fees were waived, and my mum, my maternal grandmother, had created a little fund for my education. It was just enough with some very careful work on my mum's side. To try and give me a more suitable education. It's quite hard work for me. I was noticeably the poor kid in the class. Yeah, that's the truth. I had children of rock stars and goodness knows what else. Landed gentry. And always felt slightly second best all the time. And to a certain extent, especially a small group of the teachers, it was made to feel second best. It was made to be felt I had to be grateful that I was there. I also had 2 amazing teachers, 3. Mrs. Gold, my art teacher, Mr. Baker, the games teacher, and Mr. Lumsden, the physics teacher. He used to give me Saturday morning detentions so I could get my homework done, free from distractions from other children. Wasn't really my fault, I was just too helpful. I always used to get the foreign language students sharing my little dorm room. So I consequently ended up every 5 minutes having to answer the question, how do you say this in English? Which, though I never truly picked up languages properly, gave me a skill of being able to follow routes of conversations in multiple languages. But back to the really strong memory, which was kind of triggered being under this boulder. The one time in that secondary school that I clearly felt I had a true advantage was a Class 8 trip to Scotland, to Archa, where we did outward bound activities. Now, not only had I been raised in the mountains of North Wales, but my primary my first Steiner school from the age of 10, 11. We had outdoor activity days because amongst the cohort of pupils, our parents were outdoor activities, outward bound instructors, climbers. I mean, we would explore, walk across mountains in weather like this on outdoor activity day. It was a full day, usually a Tuesday, I think, or Thursday, I can't remember. Sometimes when it was really wet, we'd go explore quarries and mines, actually inside them. Incredible, really. So on this Class 8 trip with the Michael Hall up in Aircha, I was in my element. There was things that I did naturally came to me. Teenage boys, the obsession with lynx. I didn't do that because of the midget. I knew the more nondescript smell you were, the less attractive you were. I chose the boring, weathered looking waterproofs out the lockers. And our penultimate adventure was a canoe down the Loch Long to a pony trekking place where we climbed up on our ponies. We had our rucksacks as well with our sleeping bags and survival bag and stuff like that. And we trekked up into the hills, and where it seemed we must have been deposited, and then we carried on a bit by foot into the hills of Aircha, and we all camped. Some made little tents, very overtly fancy things, and I remember I spotted 2 boulders, and there was a nice big gap in between them, a natural shelter. So all I did was pull my orange survival bag out, put my sleeping bag in there, and because of the moss that always seemed to build up under boulders like that, I had a nice comfy bed, and I stuffed the rucksack in the head end of the hole, and I was really comfy. Everybody else got wet. They didn't. We all probably got cold. I seem to remember there was a boy called Matthias. He had an army poncho that he'd created some form of shelter out of. And now I'm 50. It is a year of reflection, a year of putting intention forwards. Part of that now is to be outside more, even if it does mean that I'm spending time on my own. At least I am doing these things rather than choosing to put my needs to one side to placate others. The last 5 years, I've had the opportunity to truly understand who I am, to be looking after myself, because people who don't know me, I more or less was a carer from the age of 17 to 2019, March 7, 2017, 2019, when my dad passed away. And though I'd lived with other people, I'd never truly been able to be me, learn who I was, because much to his upset as well, he couldn't manage all the time. He'd do his best, but more often than not I would have to stop my work, nip up to Dad's, sort whatever pickle he'd managed to find himself in, and head back. I didn't mind doing that. I'm glad I don't have to keep doing it. And I know he always found it difficult. He always found it difficult to ask for help in the end, because he'd been a carer to his mother and his aunt, in late life carer. But all of that lot has made me who I am, and makes me appreciate what I have. I have a beautiful, loving daughter. I have a few very good friends. Some are surprising to others. I love my mum and the rest of my siblings, the tribe as we're known as. Now, I'm going to start getting a shift on. I'm going to pull on my waterproof, because we're going to be walking into the wind, into the rain. This is why I come up here. I like it up here. We don't mean anything up here. Like a little pocket. Anything I wish I'd been able to do as a young man was go a bit further than an hour or so's walk from the port. I always kind of said it when Finbar died, that I would go and explore the world a bit more. I did a little bit more, courtesy of my then partner helping. I got to Chamonix. A dream I thought would never happen. I didn't get to go any higher than a cable car stop. I think it was the Red Peak or something like that it was called. And the phone was running, so the big cable car wasn't running. But I have several more years with this red dog, and we will see what happens, eh? Don't take everything for granted. Don't sit inside if you don't have to. Be wild. That's who we are. Right.